Alright. Part 2. Son of a idiot. Stupid moron. Okay. There is definitely a disadvantage to YouTube's own app. Yes, I know I should go with Streamlabs or some other app to do my live videos for reasons like that. Because, hello again, folks. Welcome back to part 2 of the Jambalaya. It seems, me being an idiot, I tripped on the camera cord and pulled it out. When I plugged it back in, it did not reconnect, and instead the stream froze up. There was no choice but to end the stream and start again. Fortunately, we don't have to start the Jambalaya over from the beginning. Instead, we are at this point here. It looks like there's even some nice crusty stuff here that we need to mix up. Nothing on the bottom. It all seems to be here on the side. Anyway, yeah, this is indeed some chicken that we are, I guess, frying up here. But anybody who saw the first part of this video knows this is actually jambalaya in the making. We have already done the sausage. I have just been cooking up some chicken here. Once this chicken is done, the majority of the jambalaya is done. The rest of it gets nice and easy. Well, we're still on schedule anyway. I had planned for this to last maybe 2 to 3 hours. It has been only about an hour and a half. And as I said, we are definitely more than halfway done with this jambalaya. Anyway, for those of you who are just tuning in, this is live. This is a cast iron Dutch oven. It is a 4-gallon, 16-quart cast iron Dutch oven, made in Asia and sold in America by Bayou Classic. It is a huge, heavy pot that weighs 35 pounds with the lid. And I love it. I have had this pot now for 12 years. Almost 12 years to this week, in fact. And I have made a number of pots of jambalaya in this pot. I've also made Low Country Boil. I've made New England clam bakes. I've even made huge amounts of pasta in this pot. And so this thing initially had a very rough surface when I first got it. But 12 years of use and seasoning, especially with this metal utensils here, have really helped to smooth it down. It is not glass smooth. It will probably never be glass smooth. But this is a nice cast iron pot, one that I'm very proud to own. You mentioned a spare propane tank. You know, I actually don't have one, and I'm really tempted, now that you're saying that, I should really get one to use as a spare. Now this chicken is definitely starting to break up. Probably done, in fact. But I might as well wait at least a couple more minutes. Meanwhile, the liquid is also evaporating because, as you can see, while there's still a fair amount of liquid, it is not pooling up. And I am doing my best to break this chicken apart anyway, so that it will be all spread throughout the jambalaya. And Let me see. Oh my God. I just realized. Okay, I do have something else I need to do. Uh, I am much more scatterbrained than I thought. During lunch today, I cut up a whole bunch of peppers. I forgot to cut up the celery and the onions. So that means I had better set up quickly and do that. Well, fortunately, again, there's plenty of time. All right, that means I get to, I'll bring out a tray here. Besides, it won't take that long to chop up onions and celery. Oh man, I was just thinking this over in my head. I can't believe I actually skipped that part. Oops. Oh well. Chicken looks done. Yeah, yeah. Show goes on. We rejoice. Exactly. Oh yeah, chicken is just about done. It probably is done. However, I just realized, especially since we're getting to this part, I have got to finish my prep work. I can't believe I actually forgot this, but I did. And actually, I'd better keep my door open just to be sure I still have proper reception here. Let's quickly dig out an onion. Dig out my knife. Let me see. My cutting board. Here we go. Thank goodness all these things are handy. And finally, some celery. Yes, indeed. As I mentioned, that's what I mean. It's been so ridiculously busy that I actually forgot to finish my prep work. I chopped up some peppers during lunch, but I did not chop up the celery. So we're going to do that, well, pretty much right now. All right, there we are. Also means I got to bring out my wastebasket. Put the rest of the celery back in the fridge. Okay. Hold my knife carefully. Do not want to trip while holding a knife. Thank you for your patience, everyone. But there is still plenty of time anyway. So we're really not in any rush. Thank goodness. Okay, I have that cutting board out. Now I just got to go back in and get the trash bucket. And then we will be able to do this. Besides, again, it'll only take a few minutes at most to chop up this onion and celery. So it's not exactly, again, it's not exactly life-threatening here. All right. Okay. Hello, part two. Fascinating what the Holy Trinity is in different cooking cultures. Yes, exactly. France, Italy has celery, carrots, and onions. Yes, and this is more like the Cajun Trinity. Definitely. Let's stir this chicken one more time. This chicken is looking good. I have no doubt whatsoever that this chicken is done. But thank goodness this is dark meat. All right. While we're at it, wonder if I can get all of this on camera. Just so that we'll have something for you to see. On a trip again, that would be bad. Can we see anything? Not really. Let's try it this way. Come on, you know what? Oh, there's a little something. Okay, good. All right, let's do this fast. Fast. It means we'll move this over here. Get out my same dish as the peppers. Yeah, I did already chop up the peppers at least. It's like things were so busy, I was distracted. Gotta turn this board over. And I simply forgot to chop up the onion. In fact, I think I'll put this down, especially so I don't drop it. A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit everywhere. Not much of an angle here. Apologize. You folks need something more interesting. Try this. This is what I get for filming live. Putting it mildly. There we go. That's a little better. All right. Okay. Onions. Besides, onions are, they're biodegradable anyway. So if I get onion peels on the ground, that is no big deal at all. If we, like that one, for instance. Although I hope it doesn't catch on fire. That would not be good. Okay. Rid of these last bits here. Oh, yeah. It's always something, but I know that's why, well, that's not why this channel is called Cast Iron Chaos, but that is what seems to happen. There seems to be more chaos on this channel than I would like. Nothing life-threatening has happened so far, and hopefully it never will. Which also means I have to be very careful with this knife. So I'm not going to be too fast. I am not one of those people who can dice an onion in 2 seconds flat. Fortunately, again, this is jambalaya, and at least I don't need a finely diced onion. All right, there we go. There's our onion. There's one part. Where did I just put that? Oh, here it is. Here is the pepper. And I have little doubt the comments are flying fast and furious here. Feel free to comment as much as snarky as you like, because I think I deserve it. Forgetting a rather basic step like this is pretty typical for something I would do. This is a clean countertop anyway. I'll have to wash it after this. So there's the onion. Now finally, some pepper, and then we can finally move on to the next step. Well, not exactly finally. As I mentioned, this is not going to take long at all anyway. A little bit of that. Come on. There we go. Careful. Gotta watch the knife. Always watch the knife. Now for the rest of this. As I said, I am not somebody who can do this at a machine gun pace. On the other hand, this chicken is definitely going to be done. Wow. I'm not going to have any problem at all with that. Just have to watch my fingers. There we go. All right. At last. Okay. Then I will have to get this back in the kitchen. I'm going to try to keep my workspace clean. At last. There we go. Now let's cover it so that I don't spill it. Me do something like that? Never. Okay, at long last. Okay. There we go. It's not a disaster, but at least it's been averted. Clear my workspace. And that should hopefully be the last delay, because it definitely looks like the chicken is done. Just put this over here, put the knife over in the kitchen, because again, I don't trust knives. Well, I trust knives, but I have to be careful with them at long last. Finally. All right. Let's give a nice close view of the chicken. And with that, I'd say we are easily at the 2/3 mark here. The rest of this is going to go nice and fast. As here is our chicken, and here is what we made at the beginning of this video, the sausage. Time to mix it all together. Got 3 pounds of sausage here to go with this chicken. So that should be enough meat with any luck. Even though the chicken has definitely shrunk. All right, there we go. Now that we've done that, as they like to say, I can't even pronounce it. Laissez les bon temps rouler. Let the good times roll. Because now, especially since we just finished it a minute ago, here comes the Trinity. Told you, now that the chicken is done, the rest of this is going to go very fast. That's some good eating right there. And I'm going to be doing an even bigger pot of jambalaya in only 3 days, on Saturday. Well, maybe 4 days. Okay, 3 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Now we're getting somewhere. And I think the veggies are already starting to shrink. So we're definitely off to a good start here. Now that we've done that, let me check the upcoming ingredients. And there's one last thing I need to get out of the fridge. And with that, I will relax for a couple of minutes, check your comments, and we will move down to the last part. All right. The breeze is blowing again. Oh, yeah, you're going to have fun in the bijou or bayou. Oh, got an actual drum roll for that. Okay, well, that's nice. All right, let me double check your comments, folks, because I can only imagine what has happened in the last few minutes or so. Fascinating what the whole Trinity is like in different cultures. Yes, France and Italy have celery, onions, and carrots, mirepoix and sofrito. And in Cajun country, it is celery, onions, and peppers. Nice. Oh, yeah. Don't sell that cauldron short. Well, I'm definitely not going to, that's for sure. Or are you referring to the other cauldron? But this is a nice one as well. I have no complaints here. I mean, this is my second biggest cauldron. And if this one was my biggest cauldron, I would still be quite happy. Dehydrated cook syndrome. Yeah, I think it might be time for me to have a beverage pretty soon too. That's for sure. Homemade, no overrating it. The show is making you hungry. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that, Rocket Caver. Then that means we're both having fun here. Always had some garlic to my. Oh, thank you for the reminder. Ugh. And I actually forgot to take it out. Okay, we better do that. Here it is. Thank you very much for the comment there, and that's why I'm glad I'm reading these comments. Because yes, we definitely need to mix in some garlic. Even if it's minced garlic. Come on. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. And pull up. So thank you very much for the comment. Which again is why I'm glad you folks are commenting. It really helps to inspire me to have fun and learn things and learn from my mistakes, especially. Like, don't trip over that cord again. That's one mistake I don't want to repeat. Which means I need to cook this garlic, but that won't take long. Garlic cooks very quickly, especially since this thing is definitely blazing hot. As you saw in the first part of this video, I've had some difficulty adjusting the flame, in that either I'd get yellow or it would go out. But just before this thing went out and I had to start this video over, finally managed to adjust it to a good blue flame, and that's still what's showing now. All right. Let this settle for a moment. And then at last will come the spices. Have a pure white kitty named Trouble. Oh, gee, that sounds familiar, Fuzzfork8. She lives up to her name, honestly. Well, I'm hoping that you are enjoying every bit of it, because I sincerely miss my own trouble. I bet the neighbors are peeping over the fence. I think I've gotten a few glances. Yes, there are some people actually living across the street who are out playing with their kids because it's a really nice evening. This jambalaya is going to be for tomorrow, but I'm starting to think maybe a couple of weeks or so, not necessarily on Wednesday, I should do another one just to share with the neighborhood. All right. Jambalaya and crawfish pie and filet gumbo is going through my brain. That all sounds good. Maybe I should make gumbo next time. I just had some firehouse chowder that was cooked in a 150-quart cauldron. I believe it. Those things really pretty much should be national treasures. They don't make them like that anymore. And unfortunately, not many people remember them. Wouldn't you just do it in a skillet? You can do this in a skillet, and I have done this in a skillet. Look at one of my videos sometime in the past 3 or 4 years. Just look up Jambalaya on my channel, Cast Iron Chaos. You'll see there is this one instance when I used 2 Birmingham Stove and Range number 14 size skillets to make jambalaya. And that all turned out good. So yes, you can make jambalaya in a cast iron skillet. Making it in a pot like this, though, quite frankly, is easier because there's so much room here, you can do it without spilling. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we're at the point now. This is the part where we pour it on thick. Don't trip on that cord. Okay, that means time to get us out some spices. That would be some of this, some of that, some of these, and especially some of that. All right. Oops, sorry. Some of these I just bought at the store the other day, so I need to open them for the first time, preparing for this weekend. So let's start with some Worcestershire sauce, or Worcestershire sauce, actually. Or, yeah, as they're calling it these days, wash your sister sauce. I grew up with Worcestershire sauce, so I'm pleased at least that I've been pronouncing it right. Worcester, like bratwurst. Worcester. All right, there's that. Here comes some Worcestershire sauce. Not too much. We don't want to spoil it all. Next, couple of things that are a little different. You see, some people use browning sauce in their jambalaya. Instead, in my case, if I can get this damn thing pop open, here it is. A little bit of cumin, not too much. And for that, a little bit of chili powder. Because as I said, I'm using this as the equivalent of browning sauce. Not that you really need browning sauce in jambalaya anyway. I am not using tomatoes in this particular jambalaya. When I started making jambalaya, yes, I used tomatoes. I stopped using it because I found it really wasn't necessary. There's quite a bit of flavor in here, especially since we have more to come yet. All right. And finally, the last unusual spice that might make some people turn their heads, that would be paprika. All of these I've had to pop the cover to. I'm not really overdoing it. Some paprika. There's plenty here for this weekend too, which is good. Now for a couple of more traditional things. One would be hot sauce. In this case, I've got some sriracha sauce. Because you gotta have heat. And then finally, some parsley. And then if you're asking, where's the Cajun seasoning? That comes next, don't worry. I have not forgotten the Cajun seasoning. Here we are. So don't worry. This is all smelling good, but no, again, we have not yet gotten to the heart of this jambalaya yet. Dig this out again. Yeah, and that liquid is definitely evaporating too. So yay, I did not throw out the chicken liquid. I've let it evaporate or be absorbed, either way. And finally, as mentioned, where did I put it? Oh, it's over here. Don't trip. Yeah, okay. Bring this up right now. Here we are. Here it is. Creole seasoning, great on everything. So there we go. I can smell that from here, in fact. And here comes Miss Mobley. Oh, in fact, that was almost going to make me sneeze. There we are. Oh, now this is definitely smelling like something. Well, it's been smelling like something since the beginning, but now that we've done this, last thing I need to do, rush inside and pour about, let me see, there are going to be 5 cups of rice coming in, so I'm going to have to do about 10 cups of water. Let me see, there's 2 cups in a pint, 4 cups in a quart. So we're talking a little bit more than half a gallon of water. That's what we will do. Come on, you. Oh, trying to get the cover off of this thing. Oh, come on, there we go, at last. Okay. So you had asked earlier if tap water would suffice. Yes, it does suffice. That's exactly what I am using here tonight. All right, 2 quarts is 8 cups. So we go maybe a little bit more, and we're good. Maybe a little bit more. Now we're good. At long last. Finally, we do the water, and then we bring it to a boil. And here is where we put the lid on one last time. Well, actually, not the last time. There's going to be one more time after that. But in order to bring this to a boil, you definitely need to cover it. That's not going to take long. Here comes our lid. There we are. Hooah! The last step is coming up, the rice. Nice, considering it has been about 2 hours, in fact. It's 8 o'clock. It looks like we're going to be done, wild guess, by maybe 8:30 or a little past 8:30. So yeah, as I mentioned, we're approaching the 2-hour mark, well, including the delays, that is. And we're not doing bad at all. All right, or a lot of shrimp. Yes, okay. I will say what I wanted, what I said in the beginning. I want roux. I could do a roux, but I should have done the roux at the beginning, in fact. However, as I mentioned, this jambalaya does not have seafood in it. The main reason why is it is going to be taken outdoors. And seafood spoils very quickly. So we're talking like within an hour or so after it's done. And I want this to be able to last longer than that. So unfortunately, this is a chicken and sausage jambalaya. I can get a much better view. I mean, now that the sun still has not gone down, but there's more twilight approaching. So now I can see that blue flame much better than I did before. I'm hoping that once this thing comes to a boil, I'll finally be able to turn the heat down a little bit. All right. Well, thank you very much, Lucas Thorson. I'm glad to see you here as well. So yes, thank you. Radagast, soaking beans for tomorrow. Oh, well, yeah, that's not a bad way to spend the 4th of July, making yourself some good old-fashioned baked beans. Does that pot have feet on it? As a matter of fact, no, it doesn't. This is a flat-bottomed Dutch oven. And it is sitting very nicely on this propane burner here. I guess I'll say that again. Oh, we always called it the Lee and Perrins. That stuff glows in the dark. Yeah, the color on some of those seasonings certainly did look neon, didn't it? I cleaned one turtle a long time ago. Wow. Worcestershire sauce is a full-on New England staple. Well, an England staple, actually, but also imported to New England, that's for sure. Definitely making paella with chorizo this weekend after watching this. Well, thank you again, Serratus. More than happy to influence. I bet the neighbors are peeping over the fence. Oh, we said that part already. All right. Are those bioclassic pots made in Asia? Yes. I talked about this in the previous video, but since we're doing a new video, I'll say this again. This is a cast iron Dutch oven made in Asia and sold in the United States by Bioclassic. It is 16 quarts in size. It is 4 gallons in size. So this thing makes a nice big pot of jambalaya. And the reason why I'm using an Asian-made pot, well, there are several reasons. Number one, Lodge simply does not make cast iron pots of this size. They have never made a Dutch oven that is 16 quarts in size. Number two, when I bought this in 2012, I had a need for a big cast iron pot, and I did not have time to go on the vintage treasure hunt, which is good because I didn't score my cauldron for almost 4 years after that. um, so I needed a big pot, big cast iron pot. And what's more, I needed it at a reasonably cheap and affordable price. So as a result, I went on to Amazon and ended up choosing this from Bayou Classic because it is huge. It does the job. It is very thick and very heavy. This thing weighs 35 pounds by itself with the with the lid, without the food, that is. So that you're lifting this thing with the food is going to be a real challenge, that's for sure. I have been using this now for 12 years, and I have enjoyed myself every single time I have used it. Oh yeah, and one other thing which I've commented before and will continue to comment because it's the truth. Asian-made cast iron is safe for cooking. Asian-made cast iron does not contain lead or chemicals or spent uranium or anything like that. Asian-made cast iron is as safe for cooking as American-made cast iron. So there is no problem at all with that. Some people do have political reasons or personal reasons to avoid Asian-made cast iron. And if you are one of those persons, that's fine. You can certainly use whatever cast iron you want. If you don't want to use Asian cast iron, that again is perfectly fine. But whether or not you like Asian cast iron, it is still safe to cook it. And that's about all we need to say there. I'm hoping that the comments are coming up. The last thing I have here is a comment from Brian Gilcrease saying I had no idea it was that big. So it looks like the live feed is still going. All right, I do rotate his cast iron. Really does rotate his cast iron. Well, yeah, I also stir the food probably way too much. I have my grandma's molasses. I make my for my beans in the morning. Oh, nice! You're definitely making yourself a pot of beans. I'm wondering if they're going to be Boston baked beans. If so, well, you will enjoy it. Lando Calrissian. I have a 12-inch Calphalon cast iron pan made in Asia, which I got as a gift. I actually prefer certain aspects of it over a Lodge. For one, it's far thinner and lighter. Okay, exactly. That's your personal preference. So feel free to use it. Um, I am not interested in shaming people just because they don't use all Griswold cast iron or anything like that. I mean, this is a good cast. Oh, I see this thing is steaming. I think we might be at that point already. Let's check. Actually, in that case, before I do, I better get the rice. This, at least, I do have prepared in advance, fortunately. Where is the rice? The rice is over here in my kitchen. 5 cups of rice. Now, let me see. Did I measure that right? Yes, I did. 8 cups of rice is 8 cups of water is a half gallon. So, yes. Okay. There we go. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Big, heavy cast iron pot has definitely brought this to a boil. No question about that. Man, did this ever. So, yeah, I definitely need to turn the heat down in a moment because Here comes the rice. That's 5 cups of rice. As I said, I have maybe about 10 cups of water in there. Mix it all together. I can smell that, that's for sure. We will cover the pot once again. And now I get to fiddle with the heat once again. In the previous video tonight, not once but twice, I accidentally turned off the flame because I brought it too low. So let's see what happens this time, shall we? I just adjust just a little bit. I think we have it. All right. I have brought the heat down. And now that the light is somewhat dimmer, I can still see the blue flame. So if this thing goes out again, I will know it. But so far, that is looking pretty reliable, which means all we have to do now is wait. So in about 15 minutes or so, I will uncover the pot and stir it, and then we will cover it for the last maybe 10 minutes. All right. Can you use pasta instead of rice? Yes, you can, Rocket Caver. That is known as pastalaya, in fact. That's jambalaya with pasta. Pastalaya, Laya. If you look it up online, you will see there are many recipes for it because it's very popular. I've made pastalaya a number of times myself, and it is quite tasty because, after all, it has all the ingredients that you would put in jambalaya, including the Cajun seasoning. The one thing that it doesn't have is rice. So you simply add pasta instead. And you do the same thing, by the way. Add the dry pasta, add your water, and that's about it. If I remember right, I'll have to check the measurements. I have a pastelaya recipe on my website, and I don't remember if it's um, 2 cups of water for 8 ounces of pasta. Or is it for a full pound of pasta? I'll have to double check. I think it's for 8 ounces of pasta. But no, I'm thinking of it, the more I think that might be for a full pound of pasta. All right, let's see here. That's okay. Yeah, no, the heat is still on. It's got a nice low blue flame, and the flame seems to be waving in the breeze, but there is no sign of it going out. All right. Now is not a good time to mess with the flame. Yeah, exactly. So, good idea, Rocket. What about cauliflower rice? I would say if you want to try it, use it. That's my best suggestion. But yeah, with rice though, I mean, you saw that was a nice rolling boil. With rice, you do have to turn the heat down to low. But I'm keeping an eye on this one to make sure that the flame does not go out. And so far, it's been a few minutes, and things are still looking good. So if this thing does go out, well, I will start cursing again, but I will at least be aware when it goes out. We need smell-o-vision for this. Yeah, I actually wish you could smell this. It smells fantastic. Oh yeah, one of the nice things about jambalaya, quite frankly, is that it's so easy to make, and I think that's one of the reasons why it is so popular. It is not difficult to make this dish. It's pretty hard to screw this dish up. And so you can make a big pot of jambalaya, put on a big show of stirring it in the cauldron. And everybody will think you are a fantastic cook. Of course, if you are a fantastic cook, that certainly helps. In my case, it makes it look like I'm a fantastic cook. Oh, I've got a lot of stuff spread out in my yard here. picking up afterwards is going to be fun. Fortunately, we are still in the high tide of the year where it is still the sun still has not completely set, even though it's 8:15. So things are looking good. Once this is all done, I will pack up this jambalaya and bring it to my good friend Mo for her cookout tomorrow. Yeah, her name is Mo, and that's all I'm gonna say. Cast iron makes everybody a good cook. Um, I would probably say yes to that. Of course, there are those people who say I can't cook in cast iron. I burn everything. And of course, that's what these cast iron communities on the internet are for you to join and have fun cooking in cast iron. I certainly have. I mean, heck, as I said, I'm going to be making another huge pot of jambalaya this weekend, but that's not all I'm making. I'm going on a trip this weekend. On Friday, I'm going to be doing hot dogs in cast iron. I'm bringing good old Stumpy, in fact, by BSR number 14. I'm making a whole bunch of hot dogs, and then I'm making a dish that I made here on this channel only recently, American fried rice, because apparently that was considered appealing enough that they actually wanted me to make it. So I will make it, American fried rice. Then on Saturday, I'm breaking out the 15-gallon cauldron and making jambalaya. Sunday, well, I'm hoping to do a pancake breakfast. If I'm not too exhausted, maybe I'll have time to put something together for lunch as well. Then Sunday, I'm going to have to come home and get ready for work on Monday. And since work has been so crazy, I definitely will need to get ready for work on Monday. All right. With jambalaya, you can do many different things. Yes, you can, including create a lot of happy faces. And that's one of the best reasons to make jambalaya. I'm still looking at that cauldron, at that burner, and so far the flame is nice and low and nice and blue. I'm actually happy with that. I've had this regulator now for a few years, and it's still doing a good job. I've been able to, it looks like again, I've been able to get the yellow out of the flame. So we are doing pretty good here. Have you found a use for your supermade cast aluminum pot? I have to be honest, I not yet. I'm waiting for the opportunity to make a huge pot of pasta in it, or maybe the next time I make pasta sauce, although I also have a big enamel cast iron pot for that. So I'd say more likely, probably when the next time I make a big amount of pasta, I'll be using that. Of course, it's also a good stock pot as well for making soup. So that's something to consider as well. And in fact, yeah, damn, that actually sounds like a pretty good idea. A nice big pot of soup in that aluminum pot. Bioclassic looks smooth. Well, it also helps that I've been using it for 12 years. I've given it a decent amount of seasoning, and as well as using that metal paddle and spatula on it. I am not afraid of using metal utensils on cast iron, and I enjoy using metal utensils on cast iron. And I just realized one thing I did forget. I forgot to check the time. So I am actually not certain what time I put in the rice. I am thinking it should have been at least 10 minutes by now. Would anyone? Yeah, 4 gallons of minestrone. That sounds like a plan. Seven. Oh, that's all. 7.5 minutes ago, or 7 minutes 15 seconds ago. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Let me see. That would mean right now it is 10 past 8. So that means well now 12 past 8. So 12 minus 7 is 5. So I put it in at 8:05. Maybe 8:04 to 8:05. So that means 8:14, 8:19. Okay, so in other words, in about another 7 minutes, I'll be able to check the rice. There we go. Thank you very much for your help, Greg Hart. Thank you. I use metal utensils on my lodge almost exclusively. I do use wooden utensils fairly regularly on cast iron, largely because a lot of people don't like the scraping sound. I don't have a problem with it. The other thing about metal utensils, of course, is that they are much more angled or sharper, not necessarily sharp enough to cut, but when you're making things like, say, pancakes, for instance, you really can't make pancakes with a wooden spatula. You have to use a metal one. Mm. Even with the cover on, I could smell that, so that's definitely a good sign. I'm not sure what other type of utensil could do what a metal spatula was. Plastic will melt. Wood is not sharp enough to get underneath the food. Yes, exactly. I mean, wood is good for stirring, so like doing stir fries, for instance, in a cast iron skillet. But I agree. If you're going to be doing a lot of flipping, there's really nothing better than metal for that. So I would definitely agree with you there, Lando Calrissian. Calamity Jane, I use melted plastic utensils. Yeah, that's the problem there, isn't it? I mean, you have to use silicone. You can't use plastic for that reason. So, as I mentioned, and, with any luck, this jambalaya is going to be all finished by about 8:30. So we're talking 2.5 hours, including the delays. So that's not bad at all. And it gives me an idea that at least on Saturday, when I use that huge cauldron, I can probably anticipate the whole thing will be done in maybe about 3 hours or maybe a little more. Can you run a pipe to my house so I can smell it? That's pretty tempting, isn't it? When they actually invent an app that lets you transmit smells over the internet, probably going to make a fortune from it. I love the sound of steel spatulas ringing on a cast iron skillet. Cowboy Kent Rollins uses something super thin wooden spatulas. Well, okay. If he does, then he does. On the other hand, those wooden spatulas are eventually going to wear out, and it's not likely to happen with a metal spatula. It'll still save the seasoning with steel, the seasoning in the pores of the cast iron. We all need our daily dose of BPAs and microplastics. I hear that's good for the sinuses. Oh, yeah. Definitely adds flavor to the jambalaya, that's for sure. Maybe I should melt a plastic bag and mix it in. I had better take a photo. No, actually, I'll wait until it's undone and uncovered. Then I'll take a photo of it. Yeah, because especially since this is the second video here, I definitely need to do a thumbnail for it. We all need our daily dose of BPAs. Oh yeah, we said that one already. Bad suggestion, very bad. Not to worry, Mercy B. Don't worry. Seasoning comes and goes. Some folks could stand to get over it. Yes. As long as you're not cutting or digging into the surface, metal is okay. I have a wood spatula and metal on the stove all the time. Just have to have the right tools for the job. There is that honey badger. The most important thing is using the right tools. And frankly, a metal spatula is one of the right tools to use with cast iron. So is a wooden spatula. I found good silicone spatulas at the Dollar Tree. Yeah, there are a few things you can get at Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree sells wooden spatulas. They also sell metal spatulas, which pretty much you get what you pay for, quite frankly. I've found decent spatulas at a somewhat higher price. The best ones I have found, what else? At restaurant stores, also at flea markets, which means, if nothing else, have patience. The health department gave up on enforcement of plastics. Well, there is that, Brian Gilcrease, but I'm not here to argue over that at this time. Do you still use your fish spatula? We haven't seen it in a while. Yes, I definitely do use it, and so have my house guests. My house guests have been doing a lot of cooking on my cast iron, and I'm quite happy about that. In fact, now that my guests are finally about to move into their land, they have actually started moving their stuff out here. So, yay, I'm getting the house to myself very soon. Um, I have gifted a couple of pieces of cast iron to my guests. I got them a Camp Chef Dutch oven so that they can do plenty of outdoor cooking with it. I've also promised to get them the lodge wok. Once they're all settled in, I will definitely make a point of doing that. They also have some cast iron that I had previously gifted them, so they're not going to have any shortage of cast iron. That way, with every trade, I use the right tool for the job. Took a nap. Is it done yet? In about a minute, Corey Clark, we can check. I don't think the rice is done yet because it will have been about 15 minutes. But we are definitely getting close. Our life is completely shrouded in plastic. Like it or not, that is true, yes. I do what I can to try to live in today's society, but I am not going to become a doomsday prepper. I'm also not going to panic. Our souls are plastic now. Who knows? Okay. Time now to check the rice. So let's get out our really fancy and really expensive lid lifter, which I got at a flea market, by the way, and have a look. All right. Hope I didn't use too much water. Nah, no need to panic. I tell myself all the time, don't panic. See what I mean? Look at this. The water is definitely going away. So I'm starting to wonder if I used too little water. Look at this. I might actually have to put more water in this. Okay. Maybe I might put like maybe about another cup or so of water in here. There's still a little bit bubbling in there, but not much. But let me quickly run into the kitchen, get a little bit more water, not much. So I will be just about a minute or so. I was certain I had used 10 cups of water. Now I'm not so certain, but I think all I need is like maybe another cup or so. We don't need very much. There we go. All right. Let's throw in just a bit more water. There we go. Like I said, only a little bit. Stir it around. Also, this thing is still simmering nicely. And yes, that blue flame is still there. It has not gone out. Lid goes back on for what should be the last time. That means maybe in 10 minutes it'll be done. Oh, yeah. I think it just is time for a beverage. Let me grab my Pepsi. Speaking of plastic, in fact, it is Pepsi Zero, my favorite kind of diet soda, with aspartame and everything. All right. This totally beats those half-hour cooking shows. Well, I hope you like it. I mean, we're definitely at a very casual pace here. I will say that, that's for sure. I don't have energy to do anything. I have a Jim Beam branded cast iron wok. It ended up being lighter than my lodge wok. I sold the lodge. Some Asian made stuff truly is better. In some instances, you might be right. Let me take a swig of this Pepsi here. I'm not saying in general Asian cast iron beats American cast iron on a case by case basis. When you consider as well that woks were invented in Asia, Wok cooking in Asia is really an ingrained part of their culture. A wok in Asia is probably more important than a frying pan here in America. So, all things considered, I would definitely say that Asia probably makes the best woks in the world. Having said that, I love my lodge wok, and I have no intention of getting rid of it. How big is the Dutch oven, Honey Badger? This Dutch oven here is 4 gallons in size. It is a 16-quart Dutch oven. And frankly, Lodge and Griswold and Wagner and BSR, they never made a Dutch oven in this size. This is like maybe 15 inches across or so and very deep. So no, they never made a Dutch oven of this size. And the only way really to get a pot like this in the modern era is by going to an Asian maker. On the other hand, as I mentioned, Bayou Classic actually makes some quality stuff. Their fryers, their turkey fryers, and other kinds of equipment are very popular, and that's why I'm using one right now. In fact, as such, I got this Bayou Classic pot because it was big, because it was cheap, because I needed something fast, and as it turned out, it has been very, very reliable. So I am quite happy with that. Damn commercials. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Cast iron, almost invented in Asia. Well, some say it was invented in Asia, like sometime shortly before BC or after BC, or somewhere around there, or at least forged iron. I mean, they've been doing forged iron since who knows when, whereas blast furnaces, the kind where you can make cast iron, they're I don't think they were around like say 2,000 years ago. I'll have to double check the history again. Radagast. I have a large lid lifter I use every time I remember to bring it. I use a water pump pliers the other time. Oh yeah, those channel lock things. Those things, as you know, those things are actually risky because if you use them enough times, you can actually crack a cast iron lid. When you come across a cast iron lid that has bite marks in it, that's one of the reasons why, or could be one of the reasons why, those channel locks could very well have actually caused a piece of it to break off. Lando, do you have any experience with the Macquarie aluminum seen at Cajun stores? If so, do you think it could be a valid substitution for Magnolite? I don't see why not. Magnolite is actually a what's the word? An aluminum alloy, and that's why it's called Magnolite. It's a combination of magnesium and aluminum, and it does a fantastic job. On the other hand, aluminum by itself also does a fantastic job. So I would say if you want to give it a try, go ahead and see how well you use it. I have ranted and raved about my Magnolite Dutch oven, and I've called it the best water boiler ever, and I'd still call it the best water boiler ever. So yeah, even though I've got this collection of cast iron, I really enjoy this aluminum pot. And that's why I got that bigger aluminum pot, which unfortunately I have not had a chance to use. But I'm looking forward to using it the next time I make a big pot of pasta. You're not kidding around. Okay, I'm not sure what we're kidding. Oh, how big is the Dutch oven? That's what you're asking. Yes. Oh no, I'm not kidding around. But I am very glad to own this pot, and I've done my best to get a lot of use out of it too. Um, it was in summer of 2012, in fact, so 12 years ago. That's when I went on a camping trip. Then, boy, that sounds familiar, didn't it? And at that time, I had a project planned. Me and these stupid projects. It's like every time I have a day off, I plan some stupid project that takes up a lot of effort, a lot of resources, and a lot of energy. instead of relaxing and enjoying myself, I always end up doing these big projects. Ugh. Anyway, in 2012, I had a project plan. We went camping, and I had a need for a big cast iron cauldron in that time, and I had to get it pretty quickly within the space of like maybe about a couple of weeks or so. So there was not enough time to go on the vintage treasure hunt, especially to find a big cast iron pot at an affordable price. Because you know how much these big pots go for in the antique stores? Yeah, that's a rhetorical question. As a result, I went onto Amazon to look for a big and relatively inexpensive cast iron pot, and I found this Bayou Classic 4-gallon 16-quart Dutch oven. And in those days, 12 years ago, I ended up paying about $85 for it on Amazon. And that included free shipping because, Amazon has free shipping for orders over whatever it is, $35 or something. I think it was 25 in those days. So yeah, I ended up paying maybe $85 for this. In the past 12 years, I have since seen that the price of this particular pot from Bayou Classic has probably doubled. So now we're talking like $150 for this pot brand new. As such, I feel like I got a bargain, especially because I've gotten so much use out of it. And I can smell that jambalaya from here. I'd say it's been about 10 minutes. You know what, folks? I think we're at the moment of truth. So let's do it. Dig out my lid lifter once again and see what we have. Ready for the drum roll, folks? A one, a two, a three. Oh, looks like there's a little bit of liquid here on the sides, but I have no doubt that if I stir it, which is exactly what I'm doing now, that will take care of it. Look at that. Look at that. Oh man, I can smell this too. You know what, folks? We have jambalaya. Yes, we do. We've got a big cast iron pot full of jambalaya, chicken and sausage, and the Trinity is mixed in there. The Trinity seems to have dissolved, doesn't it? Along with lots and lots of rice, and lots of seasoning, and lots of flavor. Oh man. Time to turn off the heat. Finally, intentionally. So let's turn this off. Okay, let's close this out. There it goes. And we are finished cooking. Of course, this pot is so hot. Oh man. Actually, you know what I need to do? Well, number one, I need to take a couple of photos of that. And number two, I need to sample it. It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it. Let's break out the camera. Hello, Miss Mobley. Nice to see you. Oh, come on. There we go. Break out the camera right now. Click, click, click. See if I can get a shot of it like this. Click, click. Maybe a couple more like that because I like this shot right here. And there we go. And now, guess I got to go back in the kitchen one last time and get my spoon. Because again, I've got to sample this. Well, I have to make sure the rice is softened after all, don't I? Break up my favorite eating utensil, the titanium spork. Dig around, and let's see what it tastes like. Hot. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh man. Oh man. Oh, I can feel the heat and everything. Maybe a little bit more, but there you go, folks. Wow, this is hot. Mm. 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 Crap, I just burned my mouth. I don't mean from the spices. Oh man, this is hot. This is so hot. Definitely got to cool it off. But it's true, folks. We have jambalaya. Oh, yes, I did burn my mouth. How nice. Oh, we're back. Oh, was it one of those commercials, I guess? If you eat at a restaurant, your food was surely cooked in aluminum. Yes, it has been the standard for commercial cookware for decades, and it's widely available at restaurant supply stores. Yes, that's true. Okay, I have said this many times on my channel, and I'm going to repeat it because this is true. Aluminum cookware is safe to use. Aluminum cookware does not give you dementia or Alzheimer's disease. Aluminum cookware is not linked to cancer or thyroid problems or anything like that. Aluminum cookware is safe to use. That is my statement, and I will stand by that statement. I've argued by that statement quite a few times already in my channel, and I will continue to do so. And that's enough of that. Anyway, yeah, but you don't eat at restaurants every day usually. No, that is certainly true. However, aluminum cookware is safe. The amount of aluminum cookware that is leached into your food is at microscopic levels, and it, quite frankly, is excreted from your body. It does not build up over years. Aluminum cookware makes my left eye drift. 4M Morris family, if you're being serious about that, I'd like to ask for some proof, and I'm not kidding. Okay. Anyway, as I said, we have jambalaya, and this jambalaya was not made in aluminum. It was stored in plastic, and I am going to have to store this in a plastic container. But that, fortunately, I came prepared for that. Because here we go. This is going to go to my friend Mo and her family, including all her kids. So, also my other friend Fats. All right, that means now get to start scooping this out. Yeah, this is a lot of food, and I'm quite happy for this. Man, am I happy for this. Now I just gotta be careful not to spill it. There we go. We set out what we accomplished to do. Oh, yeah, actually, let me show you one other thing. By the way, folks, nothing stuck to the bottom. There is no crust of burned rice or anything on the bottom, which in a way I'm sad about. There's no pagao. Yeah, and you know what pagao is, but it also means it did not burn. So we are doing well tonight. We're gonna have to have 2 of these containers. Fortunately, I do have 2 of these containers. Oops. Container number 1. Yum, yum, yum. Let's put this down and cover it. Little lid here. All right. 1. Now for number 2. Hopefully we'll be able to get all of it. Yeah, this is what I get for making jambalaya in a huge cast iron pot. I get a lot of jambalaya. That's what I get. It's definitely well cooked too. You saw how well cooked the chicken was. I might have even overcooked the chicken, but it did not burn. Yeah, the Trinity definitely seems like it's dissolved in this. I can see some of the peppers, but that's about it. Whereas that the celery. Scrape, scrape, scrape. This may be the best part because you can do that safely and not damage the pot. All right, here we are. That's number 2. All right. And now comes the fun part, cleaning up my mess. Well, I'll just have to take my time. Okay. Might not want to resist. Scraping up these little bits of rice here. Because why waste it? This is a nicely seasoned cast iron pot, too. I'm happy about that. Oh, yeah. Yum, yum, yum. There we go. And with that, I'd say we are done. We dive into that food. Yeah, I think I'll dive in first. Health department loves stainless steel. They don't like aluminum. Okay, Brian, if you're serious about this, seriously, start showing some proof. And I'm not kidding. Post some links. And by the way, when I say links, I am not referring to links from places that say things like chemtrails cause cancer. There are plenty of those. There are also plenty of websites out there that say aluminum in vaccine causes Alzheimer's. No, they don't. They are quite simply lying. So I would like to ask for some proof, please. Proof. Proof is all over the net. BS. You know why? It's easy to say, do your research. Rather, consider this. Okay. Actually, I'm going to stop myself. William Hurt and Brian Gilcrease. I'm going to stop. I'm not going to get into some kind of a silly argument for one reason. Folks who like to say, do your research. It's out there on the net. Google it. Folks like that never ever offer their own resources as to what they consider to be research. Never. So maybe you could be a little different and actually offer some actual proof. And I'm going to stay with that. Okay, enough of that. Flies aren't attacking the food in pot. Yeah, no, they're not. I'm wondering if it's because it's so hot. But there really aren't a lot of insects out here right now, strangely enough. Seems like after dark, of course, you start getting a cloud of them all around all of the lights. But I really don't have any right now. I have not been attacked by mosquitoes or anything. Okay. Yeah, as I said, we are ending we're ending this discussion right now before it becomes an argument. So end of story there. I'm not a scientist either, and I'm still saying aluminum is safe. But as I said, we're ending it here, please. I mean, go ahead and argue over it on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook page. But tonight, we're done. We've got some jambalaya here. I've got to clean up my mess. I've got to put all this stuff away. And then I have got to deliver this jambalaya to my friend for her 4th of July cookout tomorrow. Okay, having said all that, do believe again, we are done. So, this was the Bayou Classic 16 quart, 4-gallon cast iron Dutch oven. It has once again cooked up a nice big pot of jambalaya, one that I'm more than happy to be able to serve to my friends. And I've had a lot of fun with this. And this again was my first time. Time to move over here. There we go. Hi there. This was my first time doing one of these outdoor 2.5 hour live videos. I made a mistake. I accidentally tripped over the camera cord, and that disrupted the live video, which is why I had to do this in 2 parts. Lesson learned. Next time I'm going to have to be more careful. I should also look into better streaming software than just simply the YouTube one. All that I'll consider a learning experience. On the other hand, I've enjoyed myself these past couple of hours, and I can only hope you folks have as well. I did say at the beginning I was not expecting everybody or anybody even to stay here for the entire time because, of course, you've got things to do, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, if all I was asking and all I'd hope is that you could drop in for a while and have some fun, because that's really the whole point of my doing these videos. Do this to enjoy myself and to entertain you. And I can only hope that I have. So, and yes, thank you as well. I better move the angle here a little bit. That's a little bit better. Okay. And yes, to all of you folks like Corey Clark, yeah, you probably need a forklift to move that pot. Well, I've emptied that pot now, so I will be able to pick it up by hand. But that thing still weighs 35 pounds, and yeah, that's definitely a real chore to lift. No question about that. And likewise, thank you very much as well, William Hurt. You look good in the twilight. Well, thank you. Yeah, I noticed there does seem to be something of a blue tint around here, doesn't it? But well, hey, I will enjoy it. We are indeed getting into twilight now at 9:15 here on on an early July evening. So, but I'm just enjoying it. And thank you, though, to everybody who's been kind enough to show up here this evening. I'll probably do another one of these videos, although not for a little while yet. Next week, we're going to be getting into regular kitchen cooking as always. I've been so busy preparing for this upcoming weekend, I don't even know what we're going to be cooking next weekend, next Wednesday, but we'll figure it out. And hello to Miss Mobley. Oh, good. Yes, she is sitting up right there with her back to me. And watch those pop bottle rockets. Yeah, the neighbors have been shooting off fireworks, and since tomorrow's the 4th of July, I'm expecting to hear a lot of them tonight and a lot of them tomorrow night. Happens every year, so be it. As long as nobody's hurt and no place is burned down, then whatever. They can have their fun. I'm having my fun. Let them have their fun. Have a good night, everybody. Kimberly Miller, and safe and happy 4th of July. Yes, exactly. And thank you very much. And yes, that is exactly the best thing to say. Have a good evening, everybody, and please enjoy your 4th of July, the 248th birthday of the United States of America. And here's hoping we survive to make it to 249. So thank you, everybody, for joining in, and especially enjoy yourself and have fun and keep safe. And we will see you all next week. Thank you for watching, everybody. And we'll see you all next Wednesday.